Oh, snap. Welcome back to the channel, y'all. My name's Patrick. You like true crime? Hell yeah. Welcome in. Hit the subscribe button on YouTube. Hit the like button on YouTube. It's that little thumbs up down there. Just give it a little real quick. We're live on TikTok as well. TikTok, hit the follow button if you like true crime as well. Welcome in, y'all. Thank you for being here. JP Miller. Man, this dude, what is going on? He was missing. I guess he's been found. I don't know. Somebody said he was wearing the same clothes for like 3 days in a row or something crazy. I don't know. But let's jump into this, y'all. I just went and found the most basically the videos that YouTube was like, "Hey, you search JP Miller. This is what you should watch." So that's what
Good evening. I'm Nancy Grace. This is Crime Stories. Thank you for being with us.
God hates.
Oh hell, it's Nancy Grace, y'all. I don't know what's going on TikTok or YouTube. Can you guys see me? It's like freaked out for a second there. Can you guys see this?
Divorce. But why? According to everybody I've asked and the scriptures that I've found, it's because it hurts people. But does abuse hurt people? How do you think God feels about that?
Robeson County 911, what's the address of your emergency?
I just want my family to know where to find me.
I got this lay next to her body and spent time with her body about 4 times this week, and each time it still didn't hit me. I thought she was going to wake up. I even tried to raise her from the dead one time this week.
Oh, I forgot about all that, man. That is crazy as hell. Y'all, YouTube, is it better now? I don't know what the heck happened at the beginning, but it was freaking out.
Okay. To my knowledge, that's
I
only
gotta shrink myself down
happened
too.
twice in history. There was Lazarus, who was raised from the dead, if you choose to believe the Bible, and I do. And then, of course, there was Christ. Now, did I just understand John Paul Miller, the husband of a beautiful, beautiful on the inside and the out young woman, Micah, now dead? Did he just say I laid next to her body and spent time with her body 4 times this week and it didn't hit me? I thought she was going to wake up. I even tried to raise her from the dead.
Yeah,
Okay.
that is crazy.
Lauren Conlon joining me, investigative reporter,
Insane.
co-host Primetime Crime on YouTube. You can find her at popcrime.tv. Lauren, did I hear that right? I need a reality check. Did he just say he tried to raise her from the dead and he laid by her body 4 times and he still didn't realize that she was dead?
Yes, Nancy, you're correct. He said that. John Paul Miller has said a plethora of odd statements.
That is a maniac statement.
And I also want to point out that when he announced his wife's death, it was almost like a side note at the end of this sermon, which just did not sit right with me.
In the last days, the FBI has raided Micah Miller's husband's home. Why?
She's intense, y'all. Micah Miller, husband's home. Like, dear Lord.
With me, and
I'm here for it.
All-star panel to make sense of what we know right now. But before I get into the raid, I want to speak to Anna Francis. This is Micah's sister. Anna, thank you for being with us. Were you surprised at all when you learned the FBI? I'm not talking about Andy and Barney from Mayberry. I'm talking about the FBI raiding his home. Were you surprised at all?
Is that an Andy Griffith joke?
I don't think we were necessarily surprised with anything that happens anymore.
That's right. Thank
It
you, Carol.
seems like no matter what is going on in this case, there's things that are happening in right and left field the whole time. So our family's basically just staying hopeful that justice will come for Micah, but nothing can surprise us at this point.
While many speculate as to the reason the FBI raided, swarmed Micah Miller's husband's home,
Jello, thank you.
many believe that somehow, some way, it relates back to this.
Investigators at Lumber River State Park are notified by a kayaker at 4:23 p.m. that a body is in the river and a black bag with ID and money found on the bank of the river is turned over to law enforcement as well. Officers recovered 2 spent casings and 1 live round on the bank of the river, and there's no sign of a physical struggle.
Bizarre.
A regional pathologist is called to the scene for assistance. Micah Miller is found submerged in the river beside tree limbs about 100 feet from the casings.
To Anna Francis joining us. This
Virginia,
is Micah's
yep.
sister. When did you
TikTok, hit the follow button, by the way. A bunch of new people coming in.
learn that Micah had passed away?
That night, very late, and I got a call from my brother. Actually, it was about midnight almost, and my brother goes to bed very early, so I knew something was wrong. So
Oh,
he told
Lord.
me what had happened, and I just couldn't believe it. I said, "There's no way. She's probably just hiding somewhere. She probably faked it just to get away." But just disbelief is what happened first through my mind for probably weeks.
With me, Regina Ward. This is Micah's sister's lawyer, attorney for her family.
Right.
You can find her at attorneyreginaward.com. Regina, thank you for being with us. Why is it, do you believe, that so many supporters of Micah still believe that somehow the husband's responsible?
Well, obviously, there are too many questions that are unanswered.
Didn't she say? I thought the attorney came out and said, like, there's no investigations. You know, the family is asking you guys to stop protesting. Did I make believe that? Did I get Mandela affected and that didn't actually happen? Because I swear I saw that happen. Isn't it weird? Yeah, with his attorney. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what the hell's happening, y'all. But it is crazy as hell.
Things that don't
YouTube, hit that thumbs up button too. It's crazy as hell. You haven't liked the video yet.
add up to a logical thought pattern. And so those types of things obviously keep it questionable. And the other thing, I guess at the end of the day, as far as eyewitnesses to what happened, to say really what happened on that day. And without that information, looking at everything else, Mr. Miller's bizarre behavior after the passing of his wife, so many things, and plus the history of that relationship certainly makes anyone look at that and say things just doesn't pass the smell test. It just doesn't add up.
Well, for so long,
I thought you said it was over.
She had lived basically under a reign of fear. She was undermined at every turn by alleged affairs, her tires being flatted, her car being taken, one thing after the next, after the next, after the next. Long story short, we do know this. Listen.
Micah contacted police after her estranged husband posted an indecent photo of her on a Facebook group called Big and
Oh, hell. Was that confirmed?
Nice curves. Police told Micah since the photo was posted anonymously, there was nothing they could do. John Paul Miller apologized to Micah
thank you.
via email, telling her, "I'm sorry for
Forgot about that one.
putting a picture of you on the internet." He added, "I just wanted to try and hurt you." He also included, "It was evil of me to do that."
Of course, it has been ruled a suicide.
Dang, that is crazy to say something like that, though.
Yet that is not stopping protesters. Straight out to Eric J. Davis, private investigator licensed in this jurisdiction. You can find him at RDFIG. That is Richardson, Davis, and Forrest Investigative Group. And for my purposes, he's former FBI supervisory agent. Eric Davis, thank you for being with us. I find that very difficult to believe that the pastor puts in writing, "I'm sorry for putting the picture of you on the internet. I just wanted to try and hurt you. It was evil of me to do that." Yet that has not been prosecuted. So how hard is it to prove? I mean, I'm sure everybody's heard of IP, Internet Provider Address. Any such transmission can be traced directly back to the computer from whence it came. It's like a fingerprint. Then we've got in writing, the man apologizes, he did it. Posting
I imagine he's probably in the picture somehow too. You know what I mean? Like in the pic, like behind her, like in the mirror, you could see him or something. You know what I mean?
her indecent photo on a site called Big.
Oh, by the way, TikTok, come over to YouTube if you want to watch the video with us. It's on the Mystery Project. We're live there right now as well. Links in the bio. The Mystery Project. Search it. Come subscribe.
And nice curves. Really? And that wasn't prosecuted, Eric Davis? Why?
Well, it may be prosecuted. The FBI conducted a raid and brought the evidence response team into JP's house. And that could have been for a myriad of reasons, but certainly that would have been one of them.
Right.
To check the computers for any evidence that he had sent it or his phones. And other things they could be looking at could be a white collar offense having to do with the church and money movement. It's hard to know until you get a hold of the affidavit. And when you have a search warrant, that means a special agent went to a judge.
That's crazy as hell. I never seen that picture. It's him just holding a kitten. Not even that helps your likability.
Convinced the judge there was probable cause of a federal crime, and the judge agreed and permitted the search warrant. But the affidavit, I'm sure, is sealed right now, so we can't read it yet.
Oh, yeah. You know what? Eric Davis joining us from Richardson, Davison Forest Investigative Group. I like what you just said, because you know how the feds love a money trail. But that said, Karen Stark, I need help. I need a shrink. Karen Stark, renowned psychologist, joining us out of Manhattan, TV, radio trauma expert. You can find her at KarenStark.com, Karen with a C. Karen, thanks again for being with us. Posting your wife's photo. Anna Francis, was it a naked photo? Was she clothed in any way?
From what I could tell, it was a naked photo, Nancy.
Oh,
but it was blurred.
hell.
And every step of the way, the police
This is crazy.
did not investigate when she complained about anything that had to do with cohesive control, ways that he was subtly, very subtly.
I've never seen that picture of her either.
Taking over her life. And he was tracking her, and they said they couldn't investigate that. They didn't investigate the photo. She was married. They kept coming up with reasons for
Oh, hell. Desiree, thank you.
why they could not help this
get it, y'all.
beautiful woman whose life was taken over by this pastor.
Karen Stark, I agree with everything you just said, but my question was not that. Your response was unresponsive. I asked you about a man that would
Damn, she calls people out, huh?
post, well, any woman, much less his wife's naked photo on big and nice curves. I mean, what a POC, technical legal term. You got to help me out. I don't understand the thinking, Karen Stark.
This is what he's all
Well, he's into that stuff, probably.
about. And he knows that if
He's into that crazy stuff.
he does that, he's going to humiliate her.
Yeah.
One more way that she doesn't feel good about herself.
Guys, we are learning that in the last days, the FBI has raided the home of Micah Miller's pastor husband, John Paul Miller. This as protests go on outside the church, outside his home.
Yeah, we're going to get into the church here in a little bit, too.
Why did the FBI swarm his home, taking out bag after bag after bag? What's happening? Listen.
Pastor John Paul Miller isn't home when the FBI evidence response team shows up to raid his South Carolina home. The FBI won't say what they're looking for, and FBI spokesman Kevin Wheeler tells USA Today the FBI is conducting court-authorized law enforcement activity, and due to the ongoing nature of the investigation, will be providing no further comments on the matter. The lawyer for Pastor John Paul Miller, Russell Long, claims the FBI is on a fishing expedition. There was no affidavit attached to the search warrant. Therefore, I have no idea what it's in relation to. All day long, members of the FBI's evidence response team go in and out of the home carrying paper bags and other items from the home.
Oh,
I just
hell.
want to let you know that I'm alive and well, and I'm going through a lot, and it's hard. Circumstances would change. I pray that the fear inside would flee in Jesus' name.
It's very hard to believe that Micah
Mm.
Miller is dead, her body found submerged in a body of
Jenna, thank you.
water. Joining me an all-star panel, but I want to go first to Christiana joining us, who claims that the pastor, John Paul Miller, begged her for nude photos. Christiana, thank you
Rude.
for being with us. What happened?
Oh, hell.
He came into the restaurant where I was working back in
Oh, yeah, this is the waitress lady.
February and left his name on left his phone number on his receipt. And I'm a very curious person, and you can't be too cautious these days. So out of curiosity, I looked him up to see who he was. I
Oh,
saw
hell.
that he was a pastor and quite possibly married. And I guess I didn't react like most people would, and I was suspicious, and it made me angry because I've grown up watching similar situations to this take place. So I thought, is there something I can do? Can I perhaps report this to his church or contact his wife or something? I wasn't sure. I ended up talking to a friend of mine who had a friend who had attended the church and had a very bad experience. So I ended up getting some information from that friend. And
What? Jenna, thank you.
when I spoke with him, I didn't let on that I was aware of anything about him. And I
Sarah, thank
ended
you.
up with screenshots of him asking for nudes and just being generally sleazy.
Okay, I want to hear the whole thing, Christiana. What do you mean by generally being sleazy?
Oh, Lord.
Just, well, he said that he wanted to see, well, he asked if I had a picture of me with just a mermaid tail. I do character
Wait, what? Tara, thank you.
appearances for birthday parties and things as a mermaid. And he
With just the tail?
was saying that in response to one of my photos, asking if I had one, basically asking if I had a
I
topless
have a
picture.
question. Okay.
Yes.
Well, wait. So you're a waitress in a restaurant. He comes in.
Yes.
He gives you his phone number, right? And
Yes.
you start communicating by text and phone, I guess. And he wants you to give him a photo of you with nothing but a mermaid tail on.
That's correct.
Okay, hold on. Let me just digest that for just
They said the FBI was fishing. Sounds like John Paul Miller was fishing.
a moment. Okay.
No? Mermaid, just the tail? Never mind.
You mentioned this was in February of what year?
This year.
2024. And
Whoa.
that would have been just before Micah was found dead
Yeah,
in
that's like
April of
2
24.
months.
Okay, I'm going to circle back to that timeline. So you said he was asking for nude photos. Oh, excuse me, plus a mermaid tail. And what did you say? You said he was also generally sleazy. In what way?
That's right.
And all this time, you knew he's not only married, but a pastor to boot. So what happened?
We didn't text a whole lot. It was for about 2 weeks, just occasional. I guess I just kept the line of communication open enough to get the screenshots, and I wasn't really sure what I was going to do with it from there because I had learned from my friend that his church had a history of covering up his behavior, and I was unable to find any way to contact his wife at the time. There was a Facebook page in her name, but I gathered that he was running it, and I didn't know if he had any access to it. And
Beachy,
I
thank
couldn't
you.
find anything else, so I just kind of...
Did you ever tell him you knew he was a married pastor?
I did not.
What did you do with the screenshots? Did you ever show
Whoa.
them to anyone?
So, well, initially, now after I found out about Micah, I had talked with another friend and said, should I text him and see how he responds? And my friend was like, yeah, if you're up for it, go for it. Because his friend was covering some of it. And so I sent him a text and I just played it off and said something like, hey, stranger, how have you been? Anything new? And this man responded with, yes, lots new, LOL, days after what happened to her. And so I have a screenshot of that and all of the previous screenshots, but I haven't done anything else with them except I sent the entire conversation to Regina so that she would have the full account.
You know, that's really
Whoa.
interesting that he is coming to you, a waitress he spots like a shark at work, gets your number, and immediately starts asking you for naked photos. This, in comparison to what he just told WPDE. Listen.
Never once in any way, shape, or form. Not in any type of abuse, not physical, no type of abuse ever. I took
Man, you crazy as hell.
better care of her than any man could have possibly taken care of her.
That's from our friends at WPDE ABC 15. Hold on, let's analyze that. Anna Francis is with me. This is Micah's sister. He says, not once in any way, shape, or form, not in any type of abuse, not physical. And then he backtracks. No type of abuse ever. I took better care of her than any man could have possibly taken care of her in any way. Does that include hitting
That is crazy
on Christina in a restaurant and asking for nude photos? Then just days after your sister's death by gunshot wound, her body found submerged in a body of water, he writes, lots happening, LOL.
There's a lot that he.
Oh, that was after it happened? Tara, thank you. I didn't realize it was after. Man, you crazy as hell. Lots happening.
Will try to cover up for the rest of his life and try to deny and tell himself that that's not the truth when everyone else around him knows that that's not the truth. He will still continue to push his narrative for the rest of his life.
Anna, I appreciate your thought that he will live in a mental and emotional hell of his own making. But let me ask you a question, okay? When a snake, let's just say rattlesnake, bites and kills someone, you think it feels bad about that? Or does it just slither off and look for the next victim?
I don't think snakes have feelings, and I don't think he does either.
I wouldn't count on him to live the rest of his life in emotional turmoil about the way he treated your sister before she died. Yet this is what he says to
Dang.
WP.
By the way, YouTube, hit the subscribe button and hit the thumbs up button. TikTok, hit the follow button if you're new here. My name's Patrick. If you like true crime, we're talking about JP Miller right now, the Micah Miller story. And if you want to watch the videos, TikTok, you can come over to YouTube, the Mystery Project on YouTube. That's where you can find the video, the channel, everything. Subscribe. Armani, thank you. Randa, thank you. Y'all, thanks for the gifts on TikTok. It's the only way I can go live every night, y'all. I'm not monetized on TikTok. I don't do any of that stuff other than the live gifts and the subscription. So thank you for that. Come over to the Mystery Project on YouTube. Let's keep going.
DEABC. Let's listen to that one more time.
Never once in any way, shape, or form. Not in any type of abuse, not physical, no type of abuse ever. I took better care of her than any man could have possibly taken care of her.
Peachy, thank you.
Please join us on our mission to find missing people, especially children, to solve unsolved homicides. If you're on the go, catch us on your favorite podcast app where you can get all of our
I forgot to cut out all the commercials and stuff. Tara, you're going haywire. Thank you.
Content where
I
we
did get a little fresh cut. Thanks for noticing, y'all.
Our own way.
Mm-hmm.
Robeson County 911. What's the address of your emergency?
Hi, are you able to trace the location of my phone?
You don't know where you're at?
A national park. I just want my family to know where to find me.
While Micah Miller's family and friends hold service beachside for Micah, John Paul Miller delivers a eulogy for his estranged wife, Micah Miller, at Solid Rock at Market Common. Miller seems to cry without any tears while talking about how he tried to raise Micah from the dead. claims he laid down with his wife about 4 times, and when he took a dog tag necklace Micah had given him to the mall to get it fixed, he saw a woman wearing Micah's dress with the same tattoo and hairstyle. He calls out, "Micah!" But it was her sister. Thought he had raised Micah from the
That is crazy.
dead.
Okay, whoa, wait. He thought he raised Micah from the dead, according to him. After that, can we believe anything he has to say? But let's go to the here and now. But when you look at the here and now, let's just say, when you don't know a horse, look at his track record. What a history of, let me say euphemistically, turbulence this couple has had. Listen.
After Micah's tires have been slashed and a GPS tracker is removed from her car, she gets an apology email from John Paul Miller. In the apology email, Pastor John Paul Miller tells his estranged wife, quote, "When someone hurts me, I try to hurt them back rather than forgive." He goes on to say,
That ain't, that's not so turn the other cheek of you.
quote, "Instead of forgiving you, I just attack and try to cause pain."
Okay, I'm not quite sure why
Wow.
he is attacking her. What has she ever done to him? Now, there you hear he apologizes for slashing her tires. He admits he had a GPS tracker on her car, but just like posting the semi-nude photo of his wife to something called Big and Nice Curves, I've never even heard of that before. Nothing was done. And now
You never heard of that before, Nancy Grace?
Micah is dead. But that's not all. Listen to what Micah told police herself.
Micah Miller calls police February 10th to a Walmart parking lot to report her car stolen by her estranged husband. She explains to police she has been hospitalized against her will, and while she was in the hospital, John Paul Miller got her purse and keys. She tells police she has known her husband since she was 10, and he groomed her while she worked for him at their church. Police tell Micah since they are still married, the car is marital property.
I thought it was like 15. Did we hear 15 or 14? Now it's 10?
And they can't charge him with anything.
I don't understand. Lauren Collin, investigative reporter, you have him apologizing in writing for surreptitiously posting her semi-nude on some freak site and getting some kind of a weird kick out of it. You have him apologizing for slashing her tires, for putting a GPS tracker on her, yet local law enforcement did nothing. You got a woman crying in the Walmart parking lot and nothing happens? What is wrong?
Nothing happens, Nancy. It's completely heartbreaking. And as it was just stated, she was hospitalized against her will. So this is just another form of JP Miller's alleged
that's Micah.
Coercive control.
To Dr. Kendall Crowns joining us, a renowned chief medical examiner in Tarrant County, that's Fort Worth, never a lack of business at the morgue there. Lecturer at the esteemed Burnett
That's crazy.
School of Medicine, TCU. Dr. Kendall Crowns, thank you for being with us. I just want to make sure. Many people do not believe that Micah Miller committed suicide. I know she bought the gun. I've seen the video of her buying the gun. I know what she said to the 911 dispatch, but yet I still want definitive proof. Okay? Call me a doubter.
Right.
But I just want to know. Now,
No, that's
how can we
everybody.
prove that her gunshot wound was absolutely self-inflicted? Help me, Dr. Crowns.
Certainly. So based on the autopsy reports, she has a gunshot wound
He's got a little Steve Buscemi going
on the right side of her head that has stellate tears, a muzzle impression, and black
That has what?
particulate
Tears?
material.
What?
Yeah, stellate tears, which are when the gases of the bullet go into the scalp, it pulls up and it creates this kind of stellate wound pattern on the skin. She also has black particulate matter in the wound, which is from gunpowder. So the one thing is, so this is a
Dr. Kendall Crowns, if someone held a gun to your head and shot you point blank, a so-called contact wound where the gun is making contact with your head, you'd get all of that. That doesn't tell me it's suicide. That tells me she died of a contact gunshot wound.
That's correct. A contact gunshot wound will cause all that. If someone executes you, they would have to hold you in place or somehow subdue you and then shoot you in the head.
Oh Lord, y'all, the Mystery Project. That's it right there. Follow, subscribe on YouTube. Do it.
So all we have is a
Mhm.
contact wound. But you have the context of she makes the 911 call, she purchases the gun, and then she is found with the gun or found in the water, but guns at the scene with 2 fired casings. It all has kind of the fitting of a suicide. Granted, someone could have shot her in the head.
Entertainment, educational purposes only. TikTok overlords and YouTube overlords, y'all calm down.
But it would be difficult to shoot someone in the head without subduing them in some way, tying them up, cuffing them, or filling them.
Unless you convince them it was the right thing to do. Dr. Kendall Crowns, I know you
Whoa.
spend most of your time in the morgue, which is a whole nother can of worms for me. But that said, yes, people have been convinced to commit suicide. I'm sure you recall
Lord.
Heaven's Gate. That was a new religious movement at the time
Oh hell, Heaven's Gate. I remember that.
where many people, a couple of dozen people, were convinced to commit
Bop, 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 bop,
suicide.
bop. I'm gonna try to stop it from saying that word, y'all, because
To go
you guys know how it is on these dang sites.
to the hereafter. And then, of course, there was the pastor, Jim Johnson, that convinced people to drink poisonous Kool-Aid. Off the top of my head, I
Oh
can
hell.
think of Michelle Carter, who convinced her very, very tender, young, innocent boyfriend to inhale carbon monoxide till he dies.
Dear Lord.
Yes, people have been convinced to commit
Bop, bop, bop,
suicide.
bop, la, 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 la.
It has happened.
I agree with you. Individuals have been convinced to commit
Bop,
suicide
bop,
by other individuals. But what you were referring to earlier was someone shooting her in the head at contact range. Was she convinced by someone to kill herself? A
la,
possibility.
la,
Do I
la,
think
la,
someone was standing
la.
there and pulled the trigger? It's questionable. So
Right.
Oh, it's questionable, he said. We love the TikTok shop. We love the YouTube now has a YouTube shop. Looks like the TikTok shop, but it's YouTube. They got Walmart and stuff on there.
Right there. You know how I like hard evidence. I don't want to talk about how she may have been convinced to commit suicide. I want to talk about
Gosh dang it.
the possibility that she was shot by someone else.
Ooh.
Okay. That she was convinced to purchase the gun, convinced to call 911, and then someone else pulled the trigger. Is it far-fetched? I don't know. Is it? Because many, many people, right or wrong, believe she didn't pull the trigger. So is there any hard evidence? I know her body was in water, submerged in water, Dr. Kendall Crowns. So if there had been gunshot residue,
She said Dr. Kendall Crowns,
on her hand, we know that when you pull a trigger, nearly invisible particulate emits from the gun, as fine as baby powder, and gets on your hand, and
Whoa.
it can go as far as 3 feet. Well, proven to go as far as 3 feet. All of that would have been destroyed in the water, or would it?
I believe the gunshot residue would have been destroyed in the water itself, yes. So by placing her in water, you could potentially cover up some of the evidence.
Dr.
Oh, hell.
Kendall Crowns, I know you are the medical examiner. You are the esteemed lecturer. I know that. But isn't it
How are you going to lead with that and then go into but?
true when medical examiners are trying to determine manner of death? We know she died of a gunshot wound. Manner of death. Was it an accident? Was it a homicide? Was it suicide?
Bop. Ooh, I got that one.
You look at extrinsic evidence, evidence that is not related to the body itself, such as the 911 call, such as the video of her purchasing the gun. Isn't that true?
That's correct. You use all that information to help you determine the manner of death.
So in this case, are you relying on extrinsic evidence, or evidence obtained from her body when you say you believe it was a suicide?
So you would use both. You would use the evidence obtained from the extrinsic evidence that she purchased the gun, she made the 911 phone call. Then you would look at the evidence on the body, the contact range gunshot wound, the fact that there's no evidence of restraint, and no evidence that she was drugged or anything of that nature. So you would use all those findings to make the determination
Thank you, Georgetta.
of
See, Bon
suicide.
Bon, thank you for the
In addition to Dr. Kendall Crown's renowned medical
Novembers, y'all.
examiner, as you know, Anna Francis is joining us along with her lawyer, Regina Ward. Anna, the sister of Micah Miller, was a full autopsy done on your sister? And if not, why?
It turns out there was not a full autopsy done.
Regina Ward, did I hear that correctly?
There was not a full one done.
How dare you?
Was not a full autopsy?
That's correct, but you have to remember legally who had the authority to ask
Ugh.
for one of those, and that would have been her husband, Mr. Miller.
Oh, hell.
John Paul Miller's ex-wife, Allison Miller, filed for divorce from John Paul Miller after finding out he was having an affair with their babysitter and his best friend's wife, Mica.
Man, you crazy as hell.
Micah Miller was married to John Paul Miller's best friend, Jeremy Deese, whom Micah married when she was just 18.
What does John Paul Miller say? How can we analyze his behavior? Take a listen to him. This is from Celebration of Life.
I want to read one of the more recent poems she wrote.
Oh, hell. At least it's not one you wrote.
And that's nothing. She was so creative. It was just always just coming out of her. Imagine being married to that. It was like that in our house all the time.
Man, you
Is he
crazy
actually
as hell.
crying or was he laughing? That clip is from the official Solid Rock Ministries Facebook page. I would take that down immediately. But that said, Anna Francis is with me, Micah's sister. That has just got to make your skin crawl whenever you watch that.
Absolutely. And he was laughing, by the way. That was not a cry. That was a laugh. You were
Oh, God.
correct.
You know, Karen Stark joining me, renowned psychologist, TV, radio trauma expert. Karen, how many times have you seen people try to cry and they're but nothing?
There's
No tears. There's not any even snot. Nothing.
Nancy, look at everything that he's saying. I have to agree with you. I mean, this man is not crying.
Thank you.
We all know that. There's no tears coming out, and he's doing so much self-comforting, touching his face, touching his eyes. He can't stop touching himself because how dare you?
Don't say it like that. Don't say it like that. Don't say it like that.
He's so anxious. There is nothing about this person that's grieving over the loss of his wife. And when we know the backstory, and it's a horrific backstory, how could he be talking about his loss, her creativity, all the wonderful things she did, and how he is the only one? How narcissistic is that? He is the only one that really cared about her.
I want to go back to Regina Ward, Micah's sister's lawyer. She's at attorneyreginaward.com. You were there. You observed some of the federal raid, the FBI swarming your house. And I got to tell you something. That's one thing I do not want to see. The FBI picking through my trash in the backyard. No. That does not bode well. Now, we know because Eric Davis reminded us, Eric Davis joining us, PI, and jump in, Eric, if you have a thought on this, and I'm sure you do. We know that typically when a search occurs, that the affidavit of PC probable cause is attached. What makes them want to enter the premises? What are they looking for? That's what's on the PC affidavit. It was, in this case, not attached. So what did you observe, Regina, during the raid?
Yeah,
I observed the FBI raiding.
thank you, Nancy. I was there once I learned that the FBI had arrived on the scene to execute that search warrant. I wanted to go, obviously, myself there because I have an interest, obviously, in this case, all the way to the end, getting the law changed so that we can take.
But I thought you said it was the end when they did the settlement. Y'all came out saying this is the end. Stop protesting. You even said the family wants you to stop protesting. What changed, y'all? Maybe I think I'm Mandela affected. Did I Mandela affect? Did anybody else Mandela affect with me?
Get people like Mr. Miller in handcuffs for the things that he's done. But as far as the FBI conducting their search, obviously they're bagging things, putting them in paper bags. They put them in boxes. They've covered most of the things that they brought out of the house, obviously for various reasons. You know, we do have this thing called the chain of custody with regard to evidence. And obviously anything that they remove from there, they're going to want to make sure that it was bagged, as they say.
Oh, hell.
Tagged appropriately, labeled appropriately, because, you know, criminal defense attorneys can challenge those things. Obviously, we want, if and when the indictment does come to arrest John Paul Miller, we want that to stick. We want him to be convicted, and so it's very important that all of that.
Right? Oh my God! By the way, TikTok, hit the follow button if you're new here. Keep tapping the screen like crazy. Let's go for 50,000 likes. If you guys want to watch this video with us, you can see the video on YouTube. All you got to do is come over and find the Mystery Project. Go ahead, the Mystery Project. Simply Samantha, thank you so much. Thanks for all those Novembers. Y'all were trying to hit 25 of them. I appreciate it. And YouTube, if you haven't yet, make sure you subscribe and hit the thumbs up button. Did we get 100 likes? We did. Let's get 200 likes, y'all. Come on. All right, let's keep going. I'll shut up now.
The evidence be carefully handled. And
well, what did you observe? What did you observe? That's on the FBI, how they're going to handle the evidence. And I guarantee you, if they're coming out with those brown paper bags, they've got everyone sealed to secure the chain of custody. But what did you see? I know he was out of town when it went down. I'm sure they knew that before they went in. But how big were the bags? How many bags? What did you hear? What did you observe?
Yes, during the time I was there were multiple size bags and boxes. What I would refer to as grocery bag, brown paper grocery bag type things that came out. The one thing that I was excited to see that was not bagged or covered was an all-in-one CPU. And so immediately my mind went to, yes, there's going to be some digital evidence there. We would hope anyway, that could lead to the next step. And the most important next step here, of course, is getting that indictment. The search warrant itself, whenever they execute that, they're looking for additional information.
An indictment for what? You can't indict someone for cheating on their wife. Why are they searching his home? Does it have anything to do with this? Listen.
Days before his home is raided by FBI agents, Pastor John Paul Miller files court documents with the South Carolina Secretary of State for a new religious incorporation that he's calling Living Water Church at Market Common.
Man, you crazy as hell naming it Living Water Church.
How dare you?
I mean, I know that's intentional. At least it seems like it. I don't know him. I'm not him. Who knows? But that seems intentional, and that is crazy as hell.
The filing states the nonprofit corporation is for religious, educational, charitable, and literary purposes. The business address is listed as J.P. Miller's personal residence in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Miller also formally changed the address of his church, Solid Rock Ministries, to its current location. The business address for the church since 2006 has been the same address for the home he shared with his first wife, Allison.
The FBI raids the home of Pastor John Paul Miller months after his wife Micah's death was ruled a suicide.
Sorry, I gotta mute out certain words so TikTok and YouTube don't get mad at me.
Why? Why now? What are they seeking to prove? Joining me, an all-star panel to Eric Davis, private investigator. What, based on what we know, is the purpose of this raid? What are they looking for, Eric?
Well, as you know, sometimes the feds come in when local
probably evidence, if I had to guess.
Law enforcement fails to take action or is unable to take action. So if I'm the case agent given this history of John Paul, I'm looking for fingerprints being taken. They're not taking fingerprints to find Micah's fingerprints. They know she lived there. They're looking for fingerprints of someone else. There's a myriad of reasons they could be looking, but it could be white collar stuff, which the computers would have a lot of evidence of his financial transactions. So it could be a number of things based on his history.
You know what, Eric Davis, you're so right. The fact that you and Regina observed it and you're analyzing it, that digital evidence is clearly something they're looking at, seizing devices such as computers, laptops, and so forth. Could it have anything to do with John Paul Miller filing with the Secretary of State for a new religious incorporation he is calling Living Water Church at Market Common? Is it about that?
Crazy. Simply Samantha, thank you.
Is it about, as you said, allegations of underage sex?
Underage, jeez, Louise. Thanks a lot, Nancy Grace. There it goes. Y'all, make sure you hit me with a super chat because YouTube is about to get mad as hell. TikTok, thanks for the gifts. Thanks for subscribing because there you go. That's why. Oh, hell. Help support the show, y'all. Help support the show so I can watch these kind of videos. Simply Samantha, thank you.
I be doing that? Well, think. Use that noodle. Remember Jared Fogle, the Subway pitch?
Oh, God, not Fogle.
Man, he was taking minors across state lines, enter the feds for sex.
Oh, my God. This is going to be crazy as hell, y'all.
With minors. Translation, statutory.
Grapes. Grape soda, grape soda.
So if the feds want in, they will find a way in. And I've just got to ask you, Anna Francis is with me, Micah's sister. Everyone is talking about his affairs, his sex misconduct, dating back for really decades, allegedly. But that is not the grounds, cannot be the grounds for a criminal proceeding. What does it feel like to have your sister gone and to feel he is somehow responsible, even though legally he may not be, and nobody does anything? No one ever followed up with him slashing her tires and apologizing, posting her half nude without her knowledge on some freaky website, putting a GPS monitor on her phone. All of those are actual crimes, and nothing was ever done.
That is crazy as hell.
Yeah, that's a very heavy and loaded question for sure. Our family just stays hopeful through this process that justice will come for her. Nothing could ever be enough for what she actually endured, but we hope that accountability will happen. It's definitely necessary for her, for many other people that endured what he had put them through. We're really trying to focus on who Micah was as a person to get through this as a family. We're focusing on what she was going to do with her life. The last few months that she was still with us, she was organizing her new charity, Waymakers. She called it Waymakers because God always makes a way. You know, through her trials and
that's beautiful.
Through everything.
Not Living Water Church at what
that terrible that was happening to her. She always said God will make a way, and we are trying to be her hands and her feet by carrying through her charity, doing events. We actually have one coming up November 16th in Market Commons. We're going to have Micah's first Micah's charity event. We're calling it Micah's.
Oh, it's the music festival thing.
Benefit concert, actually, because she was a singer, and this is something that she was going to do. And we're going to carry out everything that she was planning on doing. And this is how we can have justice for Micah, is still be her voice and her hands and her feet.
Remember, John Paul Miller is innocent in the eyes of Lady Justice until he is proven beyond a reasonable doubt of criminal wrongdoing. Right now, he stands just as innocent as me or you.
Oh, hell. Y'all, okay, that was Nancy Grace. Let's keep it going, y'all. Next up, update. John Paul Miller could see an arrest very soon. More details on his whereabouts. TikTok, hit the follow button. Just keep tapping the screen like crazy and come over to YouTube if you want to watch this video with us.
This case and that search warrant was definitely about Micah, whether it was directly related to her, her untimely death.
Oh, and by the way, y'all, this is Tough Topic on YouTube that we're going to be watching this video. So make sure you go subscribe. They're pinned down in the description. Tough Topic. Awesome channel, awesome content. Let's keep going.
The thing that I'm saying is that with regard to that search warrant, it had Micah's name all over it because, but for Micah leaving behind journals and evidence.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to my channel, Tough Topic. My name is Brittany, and I have been steadily trying to keep you all updated with information related to Micah Miller, as well as John Paul Miller.
Right.
Evil man who gave in to temptation and everything he teaches against, but trying to hold that title pastor to cover up his sin. I have some new information to bring to you all. Most of you know that JP's home was raided by the feds last Friday, and the reason has been unknown, although many of us following the Micah Miller case have an idea of what the reason for
speculation
for this investigation could be. Regina Ward, who was Micah's attorney, and she's the family attorney, spoke out yesterday on Sidebar with Law and Crime Network. She shared everything she knows about what's happening in this federal investigation with JP. Although she can't legally disclose anything until actual charges have been brought on JP, she seems to believe Micah's death opened this Pandora's box for the FBI, giving them enough cause to start an investigation. Whether that includes witnesses, statements, journals from Micah, digital evidence, this means it's all affiliated. There was a former CIA agent who was also online talking with them, Tracy Walder. She seems to think that this raid is something related to far more than Micah's death. She states that although it would be great for Micah to get the justice she deserves on this domestic side of things, she feels that this is related to more, such as like financial crimes, maybe trying to cover up from him.
Oh, hell.
She doesn't have any inside information. She made that clear, but this is something that they've been looking into for a while. Now, she has a long history with working with the CIA and the FBI, so she knows a lot about why someone would brew up this investigation. But JP has an arrest ahead, and the arrest rate after a federal raid is more than 70%. So it's more than likely he will be in handcuffs sooner or later. The feds do not raid unless they have substantial cause.
Tara, thank you so much.
So where is JP now? A bystander spotted JP at McAllister's yesterday in the local area, getting lunch with none other than Susie Skinner. Yes.
Oh, hell.
The same woman he was connected to just days after Micah's death. Also the woman whose wheelchair-bound husband also unfortunately dies in a horrific drowning accident.
Yeah, did y'all see that apparently there were cops and everything there as well?
I mean,
at that pool?
There's no reason for any of us to try to pick apart his relationship with Susie because, I mean, it's very evident as to what's happening between the two of them. But I just find it very strange that JP is going on as if he doesn't have any care in the world. Now, there is also a plane, an aircraft that belongs to Solid Rock Church. It has also been in the wind since yesterday, according to followers on the Micah Miller forums. However, there's been no evidence showing that JP has been on that plane. And I doubt he would try to flee. I mean, that would make things a lot worse, but
you doubt he would try to flee?
Who knows? I mean, JP does have a criminal record. He has criminal history. He's done things that we've seen evidence of. And
yeah, he literally fled from the scene or tried to flee from the scene when he hit somebody with his truck, didn't he? That's why he got like in big time trouble, is because he hit him and then fled or tried to flee.
It's very shocking. It's also been told that the school that JP is running has been shut down as well. So it's just like little by little, everything is kind of dwindling down. And I just can't wait to find out more.
Oh, hell. That was the whole video? Dang. Okay. Well, let's keep it going. Y'all, tell me what you think about that one. Next up, we got breaking. Faith First Academy has closed its doors. JP Miller seen moving stuff at Solid Rock Church. You what? Okay, well, let's go into this one.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. We have so much to talk about surrounding Micah Miller case and all the recent events that happened with John Paul Miller.
Oh man, y'all, this is Crimes and Theories. Amazing channel, also pinned down in the description. I think the next 2 videos are Crimes and Theories, so make sure you go show some love down in the description. Go subscribe to the channel. All right, let's keep going.
And the raid at his house, but we have some breaking news. According to sources, Faith First Academy has closed. Now, that was the academy that was ran by Solid Rock Church. The principal at Faith First has allegedly reached out to multiple schools asking if they'll take the remaining 5 students. Despite multiple accusations of relationships with children, John Paul Miller was able to keep the school open. But today, they're cleaning house, you guys, and we have all the pictures to prove it.
Oh, hail. Look, that's box trucks and everything. Oh, looks like a garage sale.
Okay, so a little bit of an update on my previous videos. There was a creator that broke the news that the sheriff and the feds were at the pool where Chris Skinner, Susie Skinner's late husband, had died. Now, neighbors had even reported that they saw over 7 cops coming and going, and that one was posted up over there overnight. Well, it turns out it was a hyped up story with no truth to it, because the sheriff car.
Oh, hell. See, there you go.
Actually lives there. And,
man, you crazy as hell.
And the neighbors were just hyping up the story through a game of telephone. There has also not been any reports on where Susie Skinner was when the raid was happening, but there is chatter that Susie and JP Miller may be married. Now, that's a whole nother story. So,
what the hell? You what?
If so, we will wait for more details on that. But they were spotted having lunch together the day after the raid.
Oh, hell. Look at him.
And Susie Skinner.
You crazy as hell.
Right there. Going to the McAllisters. He sees my camera.
So Daddy's gonna see him.
Yep.
He's gonna have a heart attack.
He's gonna. It's not like the little kid was gonna say heart attack. He's gonna have a horror attack.
JP.
They surely aren't hiding from anyone. Let's talk about the stuff the FBI was bringing out.
Oh, damn. Is that? No. Oh, I thought the dude in the blue shirt right there was JP for about a split second. Then I remember that's the FBI dude.
His house. Shout out to CJ. He got some great footage during the raid.
Yeah, awesome.
It made it so much easier to see what was being carried out. So thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Appreciate your channel. So the FBI saw them in the backyard focusing on something, but they were also taking out computers. Now, I'm not too sure what this big white thing is. It looks to me like a big modem. I'm not too sure if that's too big for a modem. Obviously,
That's a all-in-one or a server.
Like a laptop girl, so I have no idea if those even look like these days. Any guesses to what this could be, or if you know what it is, drop it in the comments.
It looks like one of those all-in-one HP or Sony whatever things.
Guys, they were taking out a lot. I mean, boxes full of stuff. Multiple boxes stacked to the top. And they used some big boxes, like the ones you would get when you're moving a house. This one clip that's just one of many of them coming back to the van and grabbing boxes and even paper bags, big paper bags. It's just really eye-opening to what they pulled out of the house. Now we are still waiting on a presser. I'm sure it won't come soon, but I mean, things are being moved since this raid. You have the school closing. You had a packed house on Sunday at Solid Rock Church. It is so disheartening to see the parking lot full on Sunday there. Did you guys see any of those videos? Now, I don't know
How does that happen?
what kind of people would still go to that church after Micah's death and what has came out about it, but especially now that the FBI is literally involved in this case. These people all need to be checked out in my book. Now, I want to upload a few clips by Regina Ward. She has stated in an interview that she knew this was coming, and she knows without a doubt this raid is involving Micah. So as soon as I get that going, I will upload it for you. In the meantime, let me know what you think.
But I thought that that wasn't the case.
Of the items being taken out of the house. What do you think about Solid Rock and their school going virtual, being closed down? A lot of events unfolding after the raid. I'm sure we all expected this to happen, but I'm sure we can all agree it's so nice to see some movement in this case now. If you guys haven't subscribed to me yet, go do it. Let's be friends. Let's talk true crime.
Heck yeah, she's pinned down in the description.
And I will continue
Crimes and Theories on YouTube. Riz Rouse.
to update you on all of this
I think there's another one of her videos next too.
breaking news.
So let's see.
Hey guys, welcome back. I want to talk deeper
It certainly is, y'all. Crimes and Theories pinned down in the description.
on the subject of Solid Rock Church closing its doors. Now, there was filed articles of incorporation for a new place of worship called Living Water Church at Market Common. Now, Living Water Church at Market Common is at the same address as Solid Rock Ministries, according to the South Carolina Secretary of State Records. As you can see, the writing is stripped off Solid Rock Church sign, and as of today,
Yeah, I saw that for the first time last week.
Solid Rock's website has been pulled down and its phone numbers are disconnected.
Whoa.
We saw workers loading equipment into several trailers that were driven off the site. Solid Rock's distinctive sign, again, is stripped away. And the information about service times all removed. But what really is the fate of Solid Rock Church? Are they completely shutting their doors, or are they trying to kick up something new? According to a Myrtle Beach media source, on October 17th, articles of incorporation were accepted in South Carolina for Living Water Church at Market Common, Inc. John Paul Miller is listed as its registered agent with his home address.
Man, you crazy.
John Paul Miller has also applied for federal nonprofit status for Living Water. If the IRS approves and at some point Living Water is dissolved, all of its assets would be distributed to Saint Delight Church.
Oh, and that's the Raymond, what's his name? Charles Randall. Isn't that his or his wife or something like that?
And now we all know that that church is a tiny little river-based church where Randall, John Paul Miller's good buddy, we thought it was Micah's good buddy, is the pastor. Now, I have a really hard time believing that this church will actually reopen given the gravity of the situation and the FBI raid. But honestly, you cannot count these people out. They are crazy. John Paul Miller is crazy. He is vindictive. He is evil. Come at me, John. I don't care. It is what it is. I would not put anything past this table right here.
Oh, hell.
Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Is this another move John Paul Miller is trying to do? Is he trying to cover up before the FBI comes and gets him? Why the sudden change? People are still going to find you if you move. It's not that. So I want to know what you guys think.
Oh, hell. That's all I got for tonight, y'all. Make sure, YouTube, make sure you hit the thumbs up button. Make sure you are already subscribed. If not, you need to be immediately. When this ends, you're going to get pushed over to the haunted side on YouTube. So go watch some ghost hunting stuff, y'all. At least go like the video over there as well. You guys ready for that? Go watch some of that stuff. Love you, YouTube.